Hey everybody, got some work I gotta do in my alpha world. Projects to tie up, builds to finish. I'm gonna try to tackle that in this video. If you'd like to see me explore my world, listen to me talk about random topics, talk about tea, or just have something on your second monitor, then stick around. First project I need to finish is this building. It's been incomplete for quite a while. It's missing a back wall and a roof and a side wall on another side, so let me grab the necessary materials I'm going to need to finish that thing. I should have enough. I shouldn't have to do any resource gathering, but I'm just going to check. Yeah, see, it's missing a roof. All right. In here, I should have plenty of stone. Take some logs just in case. I'm going to need a lot of cobblestone because I need a lot of stone slabs. And I'm sure I have, yeah, some buttons and a little bit of glass. I hope that's enough. Okay. Okay, the interior of this is also pretty barren. I'm going to worry about that another time. The first thing I care about finishing is just the outside. So right here, we're missing a wall. I can finish that right now. And this is supposed to be an eats road, a boat highway. It keeps breaking. Every time I reload this chunk, the boat that's being held here and stopped in place by that door phases through it and then goes down. And now I don't have a boat here. I don't know why it doesn't work. It's kind of frustrating. I'll have to figure something else out. But first things first, let's craft up a bunch of stone slabs. It is super hot out here. Goodness gracious. I think it's like, right now it's 88 degrees. That might not be a lot for some of you, but for here, it's very humid. I think the real feels like 100 something. I just took my dog out, took her to the river so she could cool off, because she's in Newfoundland. She's got a big thick coat of black fuzz. I feel bad for her in this weather. She wasn't built for it. And honestly, she wasn't really built for winter either, because whenever it's winter, she just gets ice and snow stuck in her paws and it hurts. And it really bothers her, you know, so I think she's a water dog. She's meant to be in the water, but oh well. Who am I to say? Now I gotta figure out where these buttons are supposed to go, because I don't know. Buttons are supposed to be, okay, on this line. I'm using the dirt as a guide because lining up blocks is kind of difficult, especially with slab blocks like this. We are even less finished up here. There's nothing up here. What I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to have like a bar or a lounge up here, like a secret meeting area. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. Not until I finish this structure here. See, I have this tunnel. This is the spot that you arrive in once you arrive on this boat road, right? But I want to put a building around it. The thing is that it's kind of uneven, and I didn't realize that till after most of this building had already been constructed. So, I need to figure that out. Amazing. Like, looks normal. Ooh. Oh, smart guy. Okay. So look, that tunnel right there, the wall of that tunnel hits the wall of the outside building, but on this side, the wall of this tunnel is not. It's going to be like 2 blocks away, because you can see that's the edge of the building over there. I put a pillar there. So if I brought this all the way out, it's going to look a little bit uneven. I'm going to have to figure out a way to make it look nice. Let's fill this up with glass. I'm starting to think I probably need to go make a trip to get some more. Yeah, not enough glass. I know I definitely have some glass in the center of the world. Let's see if I can find any. It's coming along though. Yeah, that whole side of that building needs to be finished. Oh yeah, I took my dog swimming. She was just swimming back and forth up the river. And then she'd go to the shallow part when she got tired of doggy paddling. And then just stare at me. Until she had enough strength to go swimming again. She loves swimming. We don't get to do that often, you know, because the river's kind of dirty. So unfortunately, it runs by a lot of farm fields, so there's runoff. But she loves it. Alright. Yeah, okay, we got lots of glass here. Alright, here we go. How many of you guys have ever played Alpha before? I'm curious. Leave a comment. I feel like there's a pretty big difference between Alpha 1.1.2, which is what I'm playing, and Alpha 1.2. Just because right after this was the Halloween update, the colors got darker, there was biomes, there was the nether added. That brought a lot of new blocks too. But right before then, the Terrain generation's way different, no biomes, it's just water or land. That's it. Every once in a while you'll generate a snow world, right? 1 out of 4 worlds generated are snow worlds, which means the whole world's snowing. You know, it's nice. It's super freaking hot outside, but I can come in here and cool off, right? Something I noticed, I put these boats in this hole in the floor, but like they're all like slowly moving over that way. Getting in them must like cause them to move or something. I don't know what it is, but it's annoying for sure. There we go. Yeah, glass is kind of a special block, you know, you really have to search for good places to mine sand. Especially, I don't like tearing up beaches because it makes them look ugly. Alright, well let's go up top. I want to figure out how I want this to look. So, up here, like all the other floors are about this high. There's a roof right here. So from the outside, the windows look smaller, which is pretty cool. Then the inside, it looks a lot bigger. These windows are shaped like lions, like this. I think it'd be neat if there was another tiny row of windows that were just single glass blocks on top of this. I think that'd be neat. So let's do that. Yeah, of course I've got to do it all the way around. Yeah, these need to be completed. Then we gotta put these buttons all the way around here. Buttons are a lot more expensive in Alpha. 2 stone blocks instead of 1. So I've got to be careful with the placement of these. You might already know this about this version, but you can't put another slab block underneath an existing block. So, like, if I wanted to make these pillars going downwards, can't do it. For people who play the old versions or watch my videos, it's probably common knowledge, but still, it's worth going over because it just goes to show that there are some challenges to overcome when you're building in this version. Oh! Talk about a pitfall, jeez. Oh, how do I get out of here? I don't want to break any of these blocks. You know, I could stick a slab down here, and that'll prevent spawning. Not a pretty solution, but oh well. You know, I think it's about the storm here, which would be nice. It'd be nice to have some rain and some shade. My mother told me something interesting. She said that when the leaves turn over, like when you see leaves turning over outside on trees, that means it's going to rain. I don't know if that's true or not. I always thought I saw that because of wind. And I looked outside and sure enough, the leaves, they're turning over. Looks like dark clouds on the horizon. Could be true, could be one of those things. Or it could be like 80% true. I don't know. Regardless, what do you guys think? Yeah, I need a lot more stone slabs than this, but this is coming along nicely. Alright, I like to take breaks and then build by myself and then come back to it and start recording, but I came up with this pattern and this looks really good. I actually think they look sweet, especially with the torches accenting it. The torch spam used as like part of an actual decoration looks really good. My only question now is, I mean, do I make them go 1 block higher, like these blocks? Do I stack them up 1 more? Or do I just leave it how it is? That's tough. Yeah, I think I just want to have it 1 block tall. I'm doing 1 block tall because these and these blocks where the windows are is kind of an inversion. And that means that these beams look like they don't have the support that they did. So if I made it 2 blocks tall, there'd be a 2 block gap above these beams before the roof, and that would make it look like it had less structural stability. So I'm doing 1 block tall. I don't have any more slabs though. I really need to go get some more. Ah, this armor's almost gone. Can only really take a few hits and then it's toast. You know, this world is such a chimera, you know, it's like so many... I think I mixed 3 seeds to make this world. Sometimes I think it's 2, sometimes I think it's 3. I'm leaning towards 3. I believe that I changed it once or twice, and it was to get monoliths to generate my world somewhat close to spawn, because, you know, there was none in the original generation. I'm out of stone, by the way. I gotta get more. I don't have any coal in this base, so I gotta go to the coal base, which would be convenient if there were boats here. But this thing, for some reason, the boats just like to slip through this door when I'm not looking, and I don't know why that happens. If anybody understands this sort of stuff, please tell me, leave a comment. But hey, that looks really good, right? I think that's a good way to finish off the building, you know, top it off. I think that looks really nice. That's a cool view too. Though it'll look nicer when I'm riding back in a boat. Did I say chimera right? Is it chimera? 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 I always thought it was chimera. I don't know. Oh, there goes, okay. Very strange behavior from the boats. I need to think of a better system. Just the way that I've done this in the past was a lot easier. Like, that's another boat road over there. And it works a lot better because it holds the boats in place and it has several at a time. So they say locked in 1 spot, but like these boats are supposed to swap with each other once they reach the ends or something. It's a mess. And look, it got busted. It broke apart in here. It's easy to reload, thankfully. There we go. This is another room I have to finish. It's going to be the foyer, or the main room that you use to get on that boat road. It has this big fancy chandelier. Need to decorate that up. Sometimes my mouse gets a little jumpy, and I feel like shaking the battery around inside of it will help. I don't know if it actually helps. It feels like it does. There's also some secret rooms behind these paintings I still need to flesh out, but that's going to be a pretty large project, and too large for this video, I think. And make some space and shove stuff in the crafting grid. I'm going to run low on coal pretty soon, I think. I need to start thinking about going caving again. This is a strip mine. Occasionally I strip mine. I prefer caving. Caving is a lot more fun. I've discovered a lot of caves around here that I haven't really fully explored. I made a video where I just caved and talked in the past. It might be fun to do one of those again. Who knows? Here we go. This is how it's supposed to look. I feel like no matter how many times I try to revise the design here, it just never ends up working the way I want it to. That's what I get for trying to be an innovator. That's a really cool approach, though. I mean, this looks really neat. I'm really loving how the top of that thing turned out. It looks really cool. It's got a lot of detail packed in with the buttons and the torches, I think. Alright. I do keep making a lot of trips back into that building to go into the storage. One other project I'd want to do, and I don't know if I'll do it today, but I want this path to lead up into a staircase or something that takes me into that building. You can't see it. Nope. There it is, that building. Instead of having to kind of go the long way around, like I have to go through the rail station, up and over and across. That's something else I'd like to do. I don't think it would be that long to finish. We'll see if I have time for it. I'll drop off some of this coal so I don't have to make another trip. You know, it's strange, I've never once used all the furnaces in here before. I have an entire second floor, or actually this is the third floor, dedicated to... This is 16 furnaces up here. I never go up here for any reason. Might as well, though. Might as well cook as much stone as possible. You know, it feels good to have so many furnaces fired up at once. You know, it's nice to have an excuse to use them. I feel like I always have an abundance of furnaces at my bases. I want to have a furnace room, so I add like 50 freaking furnaces and I never use them. I think a lot of other people do that too, not just me. Also, I got some new pants. Skinned some cows for that one. Bird bath. When I was younger, I didn't really know or understand that the mobs in Minecraft had like a very limited set of actions they could perform, you know, it's just a script. It's just code, AI, whatever. As a kid, you know, I thought like, I didn't think of it that way. You know, like I had pet animals and stuff I would keep near my base. I felt actually somewhat fond for, and now I just like, it's not as special, I guess. But whatever, that's part of growing up. I will say that when I was a kid, I couldn't build stuff like this, so it's a trade-off. I do talk about when I was a kid a lot when I'm playing this, and it's not, look at that, the boat moved. It moved when I was gone. How did that happen? Look, it is black now because it's more in that block than it is in this block. How did that happen? Can I move it back? Yeah, there we go. Just move them all a little bit back. That is so weird. Why do they all move forward? I don't understand boats in this version at all. It's very strange. Yeah, anyway, I talk about when I was a kid a lot. I'm not one of those people who wishes he could go back to his childhood. It's just that this game is something I've been playing since my childhood, so it's very relevant, I think, to the way that I understand it and the way that I play it today. That's all. I'm pretty happy with where I am in my life. I'm not a I wish I could go back bro kind of guy. Still, I just like to appreciate it, to talk about it, and see if anybody else has had similar experiences. Tons of animals just spawn down here. Usually, when so many animals spawn down here, I like to, oh man, the rows. I like to harvest them all and then take them over to the pork shack. Come here. Missed a guy by the tea shack. Nice. Oh, look at that, some sheep. Yeah, this is a great spot for animals, especially at night because it's always lit up down here. Here's Monster's Oak Smoked Pork. I like to play a game. I see how quickly I can cook the pork and try to use as little wood blocks as possible to cook pork because wood blocks cook a single item and then a little bit more. So if I'm fast, I can save them. Like that adds up over time. I can try to conserve as much wood as possible and see how much pork I can actually cook with it. I think this is how many? 10 pork chops I just cooked? It took about 8 blocks to cook 10 pork chops. That's not great. I probably could have done just 7 blocks, but my reflexes aren't amazing. They need a little bit of work. Oh yeah, I've got quite the collection going on here. I don't ever come here and eat these. I just put them in here. I want to fill up these chests, you know. They're 2 triple chests. Yeah, there's a little bit more than what I just showed. because triple chest UI is like a combination of both these double chests. We're getting there. Or the 62 pork chops. I guess technically 64, including these. A stack of pork chops. Unstacked because they don't stack. Oop, daybreak. That looks cool though, right? I'm still working on it. I started putting that big cobblestone roof because I don't use cobblestone pretty much anywhere in this build. I thought it would be cool, but now I'm wondering if I should break up the cobblestone pattern just a little bit, like with a little bit of stone. I think I should probably do that. Okay, I've been building like a maniac, and this is what I have. So far, I think that's the outside almost completed, although I'm realizing I kind of forgot that spot right there. I can finish that up pretty quickly, but the rest of this is how this turned out. So I ended up diluting that top bit with a little bit of stone. I think that helped. It helped with such the sharp contrast between the roof and the rest of the building, but it still has enough where it looks good. And then over here, I've turned that into a terrace on top. Here, we'll take a look at it. And do you guys say terrace or do you say terrace? Because I guess different parts of the world, different parts of the English-speaking world pronounce it differently, interestingly enough. Or maybe it's just like the French English people. Look, these are moving. I've been moving these boats in place so many times. What is up with that? Anyways, let's get out. The inside of this place still needs some work. I want to have a secret way to access the top floor. I have an idea on how to do it, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Look at this. So this is the lounge. This is the secret area for the company leaders or the elite or whatever to hold their meetings or hang out or go to the bar or whatever. I did this roof in kind of an interesting way, so I did combinations of different rectangles and squares and stuff to kind of make this pattern, and it looks kind of weird, honestly. I don't know, but I'm not getting rid of it. And out here we have our terrace, or a balcony, or whatever you want to call it. So I mirrored this same overhang design from down there. It's pretty much the same thing. You have a covered area, and then you have an exposed area. And I would like to have like some umbrellas and stuff up here. I think that would look pretty good, with some seating and things like that. But yeah, it's a nice view. I think it looks pretty good. And I have a temporary dirt staircase, which is how I'm going to get up here for the time being, but that's going to change. So up here we just have a layer of gravel, some slabs, nothing too complicated, and you can see a lot more from up here. I think it turned out pretty nice. I think everything looks really good. I like putting gravel on top of buildings, even though that one's just a little bit of gravel. I like putting it up there because it reminds me of, well, real life buildings that have gravel on top. All right, let's finish up this section. This boat has not escaped all the time I've been here, thankfully, but I feel like if I left and came back, it might. Or if I left and logged down and then came back, it might. I'm not really sure what specifically is causing it to have so many problems, but yeah, let's fill this with something. I think I'll just fill it up with some stone. I've also, I guess, got to figure out how that down there is going to look, like how this land kind of flows into this building. That needs to change a little bit. I feel like that's missing some kind of design, so I'm going to work on that. That looks good, though. I like this approach to this building. I think that turned out really nicely. I really love how that design came out. I was able to pack in a lot of detail, and I think that helps a lot, especially since like some of these other buildings are more plain looking. Yeah, they're really more plain looking compared to this one, but it's still pretty cool. Alright, that looks good. I like how that turned out. Just added a little bit more detail to fill in that area. Plus I added these levers, which I think complement this quite a bit. I haven't used levers in any like build or architectural builds yet, but I think they complement it just fine. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I think that means the entire outside is finished, which is what the first goal was. So the inside's still incomplete, but I am going to tackle that another time because I want to move on. Also, you know, while I'm here, I might as well finish these pillars that are underneath this railway because back here you don't ever really look at them, so I didn't put any. I'm already here though, I might as well just finish them for the sake of being complete. I just got scared by nothing. Like I jumped right there, and I guess I heard myself walking. I don't know. Alright, that looks better from here, I think. Now that the outside of that skyscraper is finished, it's time to move on to the next project. So I'm going to head over there. I grabbed a bunch of stuff and somehow lost all my clothes on the way. Let's get a look at this as we're going by. I think this turned out very well, as I've said multiple times. But I'm just happy. Alright. Very cool. Oh man, I just forgot. I forgot to do that side. Oh no. I forgot to add slabs over there, didn't I? Yeah, I'm supposed to add slabs underneath right there, and I didn't do it. Oh no. Did I miss this backside too? I did. Oh no. Ta-da, all fixed. It turns out it wasn't just that side, it was every side except the front, because I tested out the design of the front first to see how I liked it, and I didn't bother updating it around the whole thing. That wasn't a lot of fun, but it's done. Alright, I'm headed over to the next project I have to finish. But before I start on that, I figure I might as well make a cup of iced tea. So it's smoking hot. I've said that before, and I'm a guy who enjoys a lot of tea. I always brew it hot, and that is definitely not what I want in this weather. So I decided to make some iced tea. The thing about iced tea, it consumes a lot more leaves than normal tea does, usually because you're putting other things in there, whether it's ice or milk or whatever. And like, you just can't taste it as much when it's cold, so I used a lot more leaves. I brewed almost 2 cups of Earl Grey tea, and then I put it in a jar, I mixed it in a bunch of sugar, and let it sit in the fridge for like a day. So now I can put it, I'm gonna put half of it into a cup. I'm gonna put some sweetened condensed milk in there and stir it around. I don't know how well this is gonna stir in. Then some ice, and then top it with some evaporated milk. It's a technique that I borrowed from Thai people, how they make their tea. This is something that they do. I wanted to try it for myself with some Earl Grey tea. Honestly, it's good, but it probably needs half of the amount of condensed milk. It's way too sweet. By the way, if you like alpha, if you like tea, or if you like watching my content, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, if you haven't already. It really does help the channel, right? It does help a lot. Puts food on the table, you know. Anyway, I appreciate it if you do. Okay, so this is the next project. This is a tower that is really only used for transportation reasons. It takes this railway, funnels it into a single railway, and spits me out going that direction to the tree farm. And I still have to figure out this freaking mechanism in here, man, because it's still giving me trouble. The problem is that when I'm coming up this railway, I come up through here and then I clip into this minecart. Now, normally this minecart is supposed to give me a boost when I link into it from the side, like this, right? And then it resets itself. But because I'm also coming up this direction, I'm hitting it from this side, and that really slows down my cart. So I think this would be a simple fix if I just push all these rails back one. I think that's all I would have to do. Oh, shoot. Yeah, okay, so just move it down and hopefully go under it, hopefully. Let's try this out. You know, I used to not have that minecart boosting mechanism in there at all, but I kind of changed the way the spiral in there went down because I wanted to have a lava flow in the center, and that seemed to screw it up. I think I turned around too many times. Ooh, careful. All right, let's see if it turned out well. Yeah, I think like every time I do a turn, it must mess with my momentum or something. Boom, look at that. Hey, that works. Nice. All right, before it would stop right there. So that's good. The next thing I gotta do is I actually gotta finish the inside of this tower because I was planning on just doing this, but then I went to take a video of it for the opening montage, and I realized, oh wait, I don't really have a proper roof in here, do I? So that's gotta change. This should be quick, but I just want to make a little bit more slabs. Because this spits out a single rail line and intakes 2 rails, the building's dimensions aren't totally accurate. So this opening is 4 blocks wide, and this one is 3 blocks wide. Of course, you can't tell from looking like at that side or looking at this side. You can only really tell when you're inside of it, or maybe looking at it from an angle. Even then, it's difficult to notice. So yeah, let's finish this up. I think it'd be interesting if I had some arches going across, and then above the arches would be like cobblestone or something. Let's try that. I'm not really sure how that'll turn out, but let's just try it. Okay, yeah, not bad. I'll probably just stick with this design then. You know, I kind of want these arches to be a little bit more grand. They feel kind of flat. I can help that a little bit, so I can't change that without it being weird. But I can raise this one up some. What do I think about that? Yeah, might as well. Okay, that looks a little bit more interesting. This is going to be a weird dome shape, but I'm going to kind of try to freehand this a little bit. I'm going to draw my lines first, and I'm going to slowly try to... Alright, this is what it looks like from the inside. There's a lot of empty space. Okay, I think this turned out well. I like that it finally is finished. You know, there's a finished look in here. That looks pretty good, actually. Yeah, pretty quick, not too bad. Okay, the next thing I have to finish is this build, which I actually built very recently. There's some parts of it that are missing. I'll show you what I mean. So let's go inside. This is my bear sanctuary, or bear habitat, or bear exhibit, or bear the enclosure, whatever. We have a black bear. I don't know if you can even see his face through the compression, but like, I like to make sign art. I figured this was kind of a fun build to make. I'm not sure if I really like how that panda turned out. I feel like he should change a bit. But yeah, we have the grizzly bear. He's still in there. The polar bear, which, yeah, he's not doing much. He looks a little shell-shocked. Anyway, behind these walls, all these walls that are inside these exhibits, there is enough room for a hallway. I left that in there so I could have service tunnels, so there was an actual way to enter these enclosures for like workers and stuff, so we can get in. The thing is that there's not really a great entrance. There's not really a great way to enter. I want an entrance to those service tunnels, but there's not really room for one up here, which presents a little bit of a challenge. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna have to do something outside, which I didn't really want to do, but I don't have too much of a choice. So I think, get out of here. An auxiliary building or some stairs, some downstairs, something like that that will take me into the bear exhibit. I think that would be appropriate. I've been thinking about how I should do this, and I think that I'll have another staircase coming down the side into here. I think that would be cool. Like a small, nondescript staircase. You know, I don't ever really craft stairs because they're such a pain in the butt. Yeah, see, stairs are kind of glitchy. That's why I almost never use them. I like to have an iron door here. I think I have some iron at this base over here. Yep, I do. I have a little bit. Okay. Oh yeah, there's one thing about this station that needs to be finished. It's, there we go. That looks a little better. I don't mind just having one basement entrance to this building because that's, you know, real life buildings are like that. They don't really need multiple. Maybe I put one on the opposite side, but I don't really want to have too many. All right. Perfect. Next thing I gotta do is like really kind of dig these tunnels out, and that's probably not super entertaining, so let me fast forward through them a little bit. You know, if there is one thing that playing alpha and old versions of Minecraft in general has taught me, it's like patience, you know, just be patient. Like, look, I gotta click every one of these slabs individually. That's how I've crafted everything I've ever made in this world. There's no shift clicking. There's no recipe book that automatically crafts for me, and there's certainly no auto crafter. I am the one who crafts. But yeah, every block that I place is, I think, considerable more effort. Like, I can't just do this. I have to jump up and do it, you know. I have to actually place against that side. Like, everything's a little bit harder, everything's a little bit more challenging, I suppose. But that makes it all also very rewarding. At least that's my opinion. And that's kind of why I would recommend old Minecraft to you guys. It's just a different experience. I think it's definitely worth trying. It is a sad day when it's actually hotter in this room than it is outside in the middle of summer. But at least I can pretend I'm playing in the snow. If you hear birds, it's because there are birds. My window's open. I like listening to birds. I hope you like it too. Anyway, this tunnel is completely finished. This one doesn't go anywhere. Like, if I want to make an entrance down here one day, I could, but I don't really feel the need to. And I just had to put in all these doors. So if we go up here, kind of in the wall behind here, these are the pillars and stuff that you see on the outside. I left these open instead of, you know, making it flat, because it makes it seem a little bit wider in here, at the very least, right? So yeah, we can use this to get into the exhibits. Then get an up-close and personal experience with the bears. All these doors are kind of in nondescript places, which is nice. I'm gonna opt to use levers to get in. Not that I like need to get in here for any reason, but it's just nice to have it. Since I'm here in the panda exhibit, I might as well fix this panda, because these levers are in a bad place. They need to be like here, right? Because his legs are not supposed to be on his head, you know what I mean? And also I need to change this face. I don't like this face at all. How is that? Is that weird? Yeah, that's weird. That's better. That's an upgrade, I think. Much better. Now it looks like he's actually sleeping. Polar bear exhibit. And the black bear exhibit. Alright, that's all of them done. Maybe this end should be an employee break room or something. Nah, who am I kidding? Alright, yeah, here we go. And I think it's nice that these doors are visible, but mostly nondescript. Especially, you don't have to hide it very much against this background because it's totally white. Whereas here, you know, it's behind this tree. Not super visible. Over here, it's a little bit visible, but oh well. Here, it's also behind that tree. You know, I think it turned out pretty well. Alright, so that's that project completed. Which means the next two projects are at the strip mining base. By the way, what do you guys think of the thumbnail? So yeah, it's basically copying Dalco's spooky and creepy things in old Minecraft, or scary and creepy. I'm sorry if I'm getting that incorrect, but it's something like that. I just figured I'd make my own version of it with Steve. That is the original screenshot that he used to make that thumbnail. It's the exact same screenshot. I just colored in his eyes to make him look like, to make him look friendly. Speaking of unfinished projects, this island really needs to be finished. That's also not happening today. This is a massive undertaking that is I certainly don't have enough time to do in this video. Yeah, a passive mob farm is supposed to go here. Not just a passive mob farm, but the structure that goes around the passive mob farm is supposed to go here. And that's probably going to take a long time, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. This video is for small projects, little projects. Okay, so first order of business, this railway. There's nothing here, you know, there needs to be some kind of building here. And I have an idea for how it is. Let me show you what's at the other end, I guess, before I do anything else. It's pretty long, so bear with me. Alright, here we are. You probably can't see that very well because of YouTube's compression, and also it's dark. There's a giant tower right here. Yeah, it's pretty big. I think it goes past the height limit. That's only because I have a mod that lets me do that. Yeah, if you don't know how this works, let me just show you really quickly, but I gotta go all the way to the top of this thing first. Alright, we are up very high. I want to even make this taller someday. I just realized the materials that I need to make this work are down there. There we go. Oh no, they're not here either. I need lava to show you how this works, and I realize I don't have any, so basically just understand that this goes all the way down to bedrock. I was kind of hoping the lava would be at the top, and then I was hoping that it would be at the bottom, but it's just not anywhere, is it? That's inconvenient. Oh well. This is an obsidian farm. It takes advantage of an old bug. Like, you make a normal cobblestone generator. When it's about to generate cobblestone, you put redstone dust there. And when the game goes to generate a brand new block, it copies that data value from the redstone dust over and turns it into obsidian. It's something like that. But if I pour lava and water down the sides of that tower, I can keep generating obsidian on top of each other till I get to the top, and then go AFK and mine it straight down. That's the whole idea. It's an AFK obsidian farm. Oh no! Oh! Dang it, oh! Dang it, pick. So yeah, I want to build something here that kind of symbolizes obsidian in some way. I thought about like a circle structure, and then on top there's like an obsidian block. Something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. So how much obsidian do I have to work with? None! No obsidian. I do have the lava and the water. Look, AFK mining obsidian is already such a lengthy ordeal in itself, even though it's AFK. So I know I have a few stacks laying around somewhere in this world. I'm gonna go find it. Hopefully this thing is still working when I get back. Alright, 64 here. I'm sure I've got some laying around at other bases. Did you guys hear Hightail was officially cancelled? That's unsurprising, but still sad, I guess, especially if you're a developer. It's supposed to be a pretty big competitor of Minecraft, you know, that Hypixel Studios, like the Hypixel, if you don't know any of this, announced like a decade ago. I think it was a decade ago. The trailer looked amazing, but they couldn't deliver on it for some reason. I wasn't keeping up with it because I entirely forgot about it. Oh well. Too bad. There's 11 obsidian here. If Probably my favorite Minecraft clone, or I wouldn't call it a Minecraft clone because it would upset the fan base, but voxel game other than Minecraft has got to be Vintage Story. I have been really enjoying that. Like yesterday, I just decided I'd generate an Arctic world and play on it for an hour and see if I could survive with one life, and I could not. I tried it about 3 times, and I couldn't do it. It's very hard. By the way, this tower is looking spiffy. Heck yeah. But yeah, I actually have a series on Vintage Story, not an Arctic series, a normal series, where I try to figure it out without a tutorial. And that upsets some people because I feel that the fan base is like, just wants me to get on with it. Like, you know, they want me to figure everything out already. But if I figured everything out already, then it's gonna be boring. There's plenty of series where the person already knows what they're doing. Why would you watch mine if I already have it figured out? Like, that's the whole point. Blunt force figuring it out by trial and error. You're basically asking me to figure out the entire game so I don't have anything to make a video about. Like, a lot of the fun is learning things and seeing things for the first time. At least for me. That's what I like about it. I'm going in blind. I like that. Anyway, if that sort of thing interests you, or if you don't even know what Vintage Story is, you should watch my series on it. I have 3 videos. I'm gonna probably release one next week if I can. The 4th installment. It's been a lot of fun. I would recommend it to everybody, especially survival enthusiasts. I forgot I had this kind of like laying over here, so I can finally show you what I meant by all that obsidian AFK farming nonsense. Yeah, just like that. There, now you can have a visual. Okay, I've been working on this for the for the minecart station. I decided I'd try to do something unique, like have some diagonals in here or something. I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. It's not like a terribly complicated design, but I'm still working on it, you know, still trying to make it work. I needed some glass, so I ran back and grabbed some sand, and it's cooking right now. But I think this is a cool design. You know, I'd like to talk about something I did recently, which was go kayaking with my dad. I live near a river, as I mentioned earlier, and we picked a route on that river that we hadn't taken before, so we went on it. It was very nice, it was very naturey, bugs weren't bothering me, the air smelled so sweet. It was very nice. I didn't take any pictures, I didn't bring my phone with me. I want to talk about it because I am newly doing YouTube full-time. This is now my full-time job. And I realized, like, now that I'm doing this full-time, I'm gonna be inside a lot. I'm just gonna be inside here. I've realized that it's probably pretty important to take breaks. And I don't just mean like, oh, stretch your arms, you know, like stand up, jog in place, whatever. I mean, like, go be in nature. You can't just be online all the time, right? Like, when I first started doing this, I was struggling a little bit because my eyes were hurting all the time. You know, I had so many headaches. I finally found a way to get rid of that, and that's be in nature more, spend time being in nature. It's not the easiest thing to do, especially if you live in a city, but, you know, there's usually parks in the city, right? If you can't be in nature, I have found that spending less time on my phone is a lot more helpful, just because I already spend so much time on the screen. So if I can limit the amount of time that I'm on the phone, that helps a lot. I usually just watch something on YouTube while I'm eating. I decided I'd try to stop being on my phone while I'm doing that, which isn't easy. I'm not perfect, you know. I'm addicted to my phone like a lot of other people are, but I'm trying my best to get out of that, you know. Anyway, I started reading, like real books, while I was eating and before bed. And that has helped immensely. It's really reduced my headaches ever since I started doing that. I don't think any of you are in a similar situation that I am. It's pretty silly for me to assume that, but I would still recommend doing that all the same. It's just nice to be in nature, it's nice to read, and it's nice to be off the phone, I think. I prefer being on the computer to being on my phone, honestly. It feels a lot more intentional, but that's just me. I want to clarify again, I'm in zero position to be giving life advice. There was a time, like when I was a little bit younger, like freshly into my 20s, that I decided I wanted to make self-improvement videos, and it was called Monsters Tea Time, and I would make tea, and I would talk about, like, I don't know, self-improvement stuff. And I stopped doing that because I realized I'm not qualified to do that. I'm not a professional. I'm not, like, super successful. I can't even, like, stick to the things that I'm trying to promote. I would say stuff like have a good sleep schedule, you know, that kind of thing. And I struggle with my sleep schedule still. I'm getting better at it, but, like, I'm still struggling. So yeah, I can't sit there and kind of pretend to be an expert. Even if I wasn't trying to be, it still kind of came across that way. Plus, there's so many people in the 20-something age group who are making self-improvement videos when they're just starting life. You know, all the power to them, right? But I realized I should probably humble myself a lot before I try something like that. and I'm glad that I did. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to recommend going kayaking or reading a book. You know, I think that those are generally good things. But to each their own. I'm kind of realizing that this obsidian block idea doesn't really fit. So instead of that, I'm going to do an obsidian roof. I think that's a fine compromise. Okay, the interior of this place isn't done, but I just want to show how this looks at night. I mean, it's about to be day. But I put all these redstone torches all the way around, and I think it looks so cool. Look at that. I think this is turning out very nicely. Okay, now the interior is done. Also, I added these little expensive iron block decorations because I thought it'd be cool if they were surrounding something, these window frames. There's one on that side too. So yeah, inside, nothing crazy. I wanted to show you the outside wall. We still had dark. There's a bench here. I swapped what side this booster was on because I thought that maybe it would stop this thing from getting like stuck on it when it comes in, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll change anything if I'm coming at it from full force or not. I also added this little like fence on the outside just to like potentially prevent mobs from getting in here, but I don't know. Anyway, I think it turned out very nice. That's that project done. I have one more thing to do, and it's the thing that I've been looking forward to the least. Oh man, what the heck? Are you kidding me? Okay, I just logged back in, and that boat down there, it just popped through that door. I just saw that happen. Why does that happen? That's so confusing. Gosh. Okay, so this is the final project, but you'll notice this is a little bit different than the last time we might have seen it. That's because I had changed the design off screen with a little bit of help from Deadly Dirt Block. The old design, I wasn't vibing with it. This is a lot easier to access, or at least it should be, but now I've got to go down there and grab that runaway boat. Yeah, re-logging seems to sometimes make those boats clip through those doors, which is strange. Because that other Eats road that's over there doesn't have that problem. However, it uses the top halves of doors only. I can't use the top half of doors. I can only use the bottom half because I can't put any redstone underneath. There's rooms underneath. I can't do that. You know what would be cool? If I had a diagonal building. Like a diagonal building right here or right over there. That'd be awesome. Maybe another time. I don't need one for anything. Yeah, so smashed to pieces, and I don't... Why? Why did it break? It shouldn't have even broken, so that's kind of strange, right? It should have just bounced through this system and then broken on this boat. This is why I didn't record me changing this thing, because it's always such a hassle. It's always such a confusing mess. If I had just done a traditional Each road, I never would have had any problems, but here I am. Anyway, how do I load this thing? I think I just gotta push him in. Get in there. Nope. Well, okay. Oh wait, that's not right. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, the boat stays like this, so maybe it being on an angle is making it kind of clip into this door. I don't know. Perhaps that means I gotta change how this is done. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Right now, I need to decorate this room, and honestly, I don't know what to put in here. It's such a big space. It's not like I'm gonna put anything tall in here. Like, you've got the entrance out of here is right here. Should probably change this window though. I don't like how this looks when I pull up to it. It would look good, I think, if I had an overhang right here. Huh, look at that. When I place a slab against this wall, the log gets slightly brighter. See? That's weird. Oh, no. Ah, man. I guess that's a liability. Here we go again. Okay, so my idea for the inside of that building is it'd be cool if I put up a giant pixel art of a boat. I haven't checked if I have enough room yet. I'll make room. But I was looking at this, and there seems to be 5 distinct colors, that I can probably get away with using. The border being the darkest. And as far as I know, there are 4 shades of brown that I can work with. There's chests, right? Like, I don't really know where I would fit a chest, and I think it would be weird. So I'm not going to. So I think it'd be better if I made the border of this boat out of obsidian. It's not black, but it would at least help clearly define it against the background of that building. I don't have enough obsidian, which means I need to go to the obsidian farm. I don't think I even have a diamond pickaxe over here. I think I took it with me somewhere else. Oh well, that means I gotta craft one. And what am I gonna use these diamonds for anyways, right? I think it's 51 pixels. Let me just get a stack, just in case. All right, our newly minted rail station. This thing's awesome. Get out of here. I really like how this looks. I like this design a lot. It would be interesting if I could take this same design and expand it somehow, but I don't really know how I would do that. Anyways, here we go. Wait, ooh. No. Wait. Perhaps I gotta reroute this track so like when you're arriving on this side, you divert onto a track over here so you don't risk hitting that thing. And the same should maybe exist on the other side of this. I don't have any rail though, so I can't do that right now. Look though, this is huge. It's finally daytime, so you can really see it. And the terrain around here is crazy. I don't know why I stuck it so dang far away. I wanted it to be out of sight. It's different during the day. Pretty cool. And the world rendering is very strange. That's just because of the height mod. You're not really supposed to be this high. Alright, now you finally get to see this in action. It's really simple. Oh, that was close. Alright. Yeah, and it's going to take a million years for it to get down here. Okay, this has finally flowed all the way down. Yeah, this bedrock alignment is really important. That's why I had to kind of search for it for a while. There's a bunch of digging behind here that I blocked off. I need to have the liquids flow on either side, but have two bedrock here. So when I mine to the bottom of this AFK, I won't bust through, you know? Anyway, this works exactly the same as how I showed earlier, but I'm going to do it like this. So 2 bits of redstone, 2 bits of gravel. That causes the lava to flow over and then turn into obsidian. So I don't have an amazing rhythm set up for this, but you know, it works. So yeah, I just keep doing this till I reach the top. That's it. I brought 64 redstone, so I'll be able to make exactly a stack of obsidian. Okay, and when it's done like that, I just gotta go to the top and remove these liquids. Yeah, unfortunately, this lava flow works really strangely. I still haven't figured it out. It gets stuck a lot as it's flowing down. It looks like it's going good now, but occasionally it'll just stop moving. Yeah, like this. See? I don't know why that happens. Usually just waiting a long time or relogging or leaving and coming back to the chunk will fix this, but I'm not going to really worry about it right now. Instead, my solution to this problem looks like this. I just realized I need to fill this side with gravel as well. Yeah, pretty easy. I'm going to block myself in here just in case any mobs decide to show up. Torch is right there. Yeah, and that's it. That's the whole thing. Just find a way to kind of like hold down the mouse button the entire time. It's 15 seconds per block of obsidian. And there's 64 of these, so I don't know. Let's give it 20 minutes. Okay, we're done. See, it wasn't that far. While I was gone, I made another cup of tea. Some hot tea because it's cooled off outside. Made some Irish breakfast. Let me take a picture. I didn't record it. I don't record every time I make tea, you know. That's pretty good. Nice and bitter. Contrast to earlier in the video when it was just too sweet. I haven't had hot tea in a long time, so it's nice. Okay, 64 obsidian. Perfect. And then all we have to do is just break this gravel, let it all fall down. I mean, it's great. That's why I use gravel over here. All right, ta-da. Stick in the chest. This lava has still not dissipated, so you know, maybe next time I come back I will have, but it doesn't really matter that much. I'll leave these both here though. Oh, there's a diamond pickaxe here. Oh man, such an idiot. Alright, I got everything I need. While I was gone, the boat phased through this door again, like when I arrived back from the obsidian farm and reloaded this chunk, it phased through, which is very annoying, but I don't know. Hopefully one of you can explain that to me. Regardless, I got the materials. I can try to fit this boat art in here somewhere, so How wide is that actually? About 14 blocks wide. How much space do I have to work with? 2, 3, 5, 6. Not quite 14. This wall itself is about 13 blocks. But the end of this boat lifts up a little bit, so I can probably have it come over this door somewhat. How tall is it, though? That's the other question. It's about 13 blocks tall. How much space do I have here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have exactly 13 blocks of space before this hits that beam. It's going to be tight fit, but I'm going to make it work. So first, the outline. Something like this. Alright, it's kind of dark, but it does fit in there. I feel like I messed this up. I guess it is kind of a weird shape. Like once I have the inner lines and stuff, it'll be a little bit easier to understand what's going on. I wish I had like a large picture of this. Hold on. There we go. 1, 2, 3. That still looks really weird, but that's accurate, I'm pretty sure. These sides down here only use the lightest 2 blocks, so let's put that there. That's gonna be really hard to tell what this is. Okay. Alright, well, there it is. See the resemblance? Wow, that doesn't, I feel like at first glance, you can't understand what this is. Okay, cool. Let me at least put torches all over it. Better? Well, the torches do help, but honestly, it is what it is. Doing pixel art is fun, though. I will give it that. It is pretty fun to do. Just you're really limited with the colors that you have. All right. Well, as far as the rest of the decoration goes, I feel like I should put a desk right here. I think that'd be cool. Like that, and then I think signs for tickets would be good. Okay, it looks something like this. I don't know if you can even see that. Hold on. This is what I did. I have these bars, and then they kind of boost up, and then back down, and then sign art. You know, sign art's difficult. It's hard, but it's cool. Boat pass, $5. I think that's a fair price. Let's add some gates back here. Perfect. And over in this area, I feel like I should have seating of some kind, so let's do that. In this case, I'm going to do what's easiest. I may have mentioned before, but these stairs are all wonky. You know, they kind of change directions based on what blocks are around them. There's a way I can kind of force align them using signs and dirt. So if I just put a sign on the end, that's not going to do it. But if I try to align it from behind, that should work. Like this. Okay, and then I remove these one row at a time. That should keep them all facing the right way. Yeah, it's easy in modern Minecraft, but here it's kind of a challenge. But look, now I got seating. This place is such a confusing mess. Kind of think it would be cool if I had like fences acting as dividers that create a line here. I wonder if I could do that. Yeah, there we go. See, so like if there's a line, you kind of have to walk through, like at a real terminal. Oh man, that's probably gonna be annoying, but I can just walk around it, you know? It's just for decoration. And then back here, let's see. Kind of think it would be cool to have a cactus in here. I don't think I've ever done anything with cactus in this world. They do exist in alpha. I wouldn't blame you to assume that they're not, just because they don't do anything. You can't craft dye with them, so there's no point that they exist. I mean, they still damage stuff. They grow on beaches. They're a little harder to find in snow worlds, but you can find them. So my idea is I do something like this. Cactus in the middle. However, I can't place it because it's up against the block, so I think I can do block replacement bypass, if I'm careful. I need to make a temporary water pool just for this, just in case it doesn't work. So I just place the water, really quickly switch to cactus. Hey, nice. That was easy. Oh shoot, yeah, I can't let this thing grow because if it grows, it'll break itself. All right, let's try that again. That torch should stop it. Boom, look at that. That actually looks really cool. I've never done anything with cactus, decorative or otherwise. I like how that looks. Now I'm wondering if block replacement bypass will allow me to place torches on top of these fences. Because you can't normally. Nope, that's too bad. I'll just throw some in here. Nondescript like. I'm not the world's biggest fan of torch spam, especially when it's like weaved in and out of builds. That's just how it is. It's just another building constraint in this game of many. But hey, I think filled this out pretty well. Yeah, I can say I'm happy with this. Which means this entire building is done, really. Like, this was the last thing I needed to complete as part of this main structure, and now it's done. And that means that all the projects I set out to do in this video are also done, so I suppose that means I can call it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to the members of this channel. You guys make this possible for me. Seriously, I really appreciate it. It may be difficult for me to consistently upload for the next month or so, just because I have a lot of things I gotta do in real life. I'm trying to grind out as much videos as I can so I can upload while I'm busy. I'm having like my 2 wisdom teeth removed, the top side. I already had one removed on the bottom. They told me that the rest would never be a problem. They were wrong. So I'm getting the top 2 removed. My family wants to do a family vacation because everybody's leaving. My girlfriend wants to do a vacation because because this is the only time she can do it. So yeah, I'm gonna be busy, but hopefully I'll have enough stuff I can upload while I'm gone. If I can't grind out full-length videos in that time, I might just do shorter videos. I've been thinking about doing 5-minute, 10-minute videos of me just talking about one story while playing Alpha. There's some stuff on my list I haven't gotten the chance to talk about yet. Stuff I haven't found a way to incorporate into the video. So if I can't do a bunch of full-length videos, I might do some shorter ones, and I apologize for that. But after that, it should be back to normal. In any case, thank you for watching. If you want to support me and help keep the channel sponsor-free, sponsors away from the channel entirely, consider joining the membership, like these fine folk. Subscribe, like, whatever, it helps. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it somewhat relaxing. I've been Monster, and have a good night.